comments. Of course, coming off that thrilling match against Real Madrid in the Champions League. The Spanish midfielder, quote, "I do need a rest. Sometimes it is what it is. A rest is something we are planning. Yes." Here's the response from his manager, Pep Guardiola.
If a player doesn't want to play, he's not going to play. It's simple. Another one is going to play. If he's tired, feel exhausted, it can happen. Another player is going to play.
And is it a case of managing all these players in this really tight schedule? Will you have to give Rodri a rest at some point?
Yeah, but not just Rodri. I would love to have rest central defenders, but we don't have. So for friendly games, injuries. So we are in a big trouble. So we cannot rest.
So on yesterday's show, Stevie was very mad that Rodri would come out and say this publicly.
Well, I've no idea what Guardiola said. I have to be honest. I mean, he was mumbling. We'll have to get the subtitles back in, which maybe a little bit harsh coming from me.
Mm-hmm. But you can read. If a player doesn't want to play, then he's not going to.
Yeah,
play.
I get the gist of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I did get the gist of that. Well, at the end of the day, it's horses for courses, isn't it? I mean, if he's got, I mean, I'm not going to get mad about it. There's lots of things to get mad about, particularly the previous conversation.
Yes, as we noted.
But look, it's not something.
It's odd for a player at this point of year to come out and ask
generally
for a rest.
a player would talk about. You know, my manager saying to me, I mean, Glenn Hoddle sent to me when I was, in my early 20s, 3 games in a week, even you guys are fit, and I was like, so he's trying to get in my head, and I'm saying, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So you'd have never gone to the press and said, I need a break?
I'm not going to him and saying, listen, I'm a little bit tired.
No. To me, it was mostly, I came across more managers, hey, you can play, right? You're good. You can get out there. Hey, if we need to, if you're struggling with this, don't worry, I got your back. But I need you to go out there and help us win a game. Rarely have I heard a player publicly say, yeah, I think I might need to take a rest here.
What we don't realise, a lot of people, I think, don't maybe they do it. I don't know, maybe I'm doing our viewers a disservice. But I think what a lot of people don't realise is that there are many components in this City side, including the goalkeeper that's been changed recently, and including Erling Haaland, and including Kevin De Bruyne, who they can change, and other players come in and they solve the puzzle. I would argue with a lot of people that Rodri could be the most important one out of them all in that position. Who else is going to come in and do the job? Somebody will come and score goals. Somebody will come and defend. We've seen them, they had no Walker, they've had no Stones, they've had injuries at the back, they've had Haaland out of form a little bit and they've had him injured. They've had wide players out, they had De Bruyne out for 6 months. I would say if they'd lost Rodri for 6 months, they wouldn't even been in.
Well, they would have had to go in the transfer.
They wouldn't even been in this title race because they had no Phillips to come in. He's on loan, but he wasn't good enough for them. And Kovac is a good player, but he can't do that job. And so there really isn't anybody that can come in and link the back line, midfield, and front three like he does. He does it better, I think, than anybody else in European football. So it's understandable. He's tired, but I think from his manager's perspective, there's nobody else, and there is every other position, there are people to fill the holes and do a great job. I don't think there is for Rodri.
All that said, is then Luton Town, who are in a relegation scrap, is this the place to give him the break with Real Madrid's second leg coming up?
Well, but to his point, though, who?
Unless you're a little bit of a curmudgeon like me and say, well, he's asked for a rest now, so he's not getting one. But, that would be...
We've seen that before with managers, for sure.
That would be cutting your nose off to spite your face. Yeah. So he'll make a decision. But there's no doubt Rodri, particularly in the Real Madrid game, away from home, and there's been 1 or 2 others recently. I think his standards, which are, by the way, as you probably know from talking about, his standards are so high, they did just drop a little bit. And so maybe he does just need a rest, but that's up to...
Well, but can you afford? I mean, is it going to take, in this 3-horse race, are you going to have to win out to win the title? You look at the teams left in the Champions League, where are you going to rest there? So yeah, Luton Town they've given themselves an opportunity to stay up. Now, would that be a shock result to go away and beat Man City or to steal a point. Yes, but how often have you seen a team when a manager makes changes and the team has that boost because they're like, oh, this is what they think of us. They think they can come here and make wholesale changes and not play who you are calling right now the most important player to Man City. Oh, yeah, and then maybe there's a little something extra, and then they come in and make the surprise. So and that draw at home against Luton, you lose the Premier League.
So if it's not the weekend,
yeah,
Kasey can win, is it? FA Cup's coming up. It's Chelsea. You're not going to rest there. It's a semi-final. You're not resting in the Champions League. Not happening. Unless you beat somebody, 5-0 in the first leg of the semi-final. Unlikely. If you get there.
Yeah,
which
correct.
is still a big doubt.
So
the opportunities for rest for some of these players that have played a lot is a very narrow window.
Kieran, what do you make of Rodri asking for a rest and then the response from his manager?
I think it's a strange one to do it publicly, but at the end of the day, a player of Rodri's quality, if he's asking for a rest, you have to give it. You have to give it to him, and there's no better time to do it this weekend. No disrespect to Luton, but if ever there was a game where, City didn't need a Rodri, it would be this game. So I think it's good timing that he's asked for a rest at this time. I mean, what is it, over 66 games or something crazy like that he's hasn't been on the losing side for City? It's crazy. If a player like that is asking for a rest, you have to give it to him.
Kieran mentioned earlier in the show that he likes Arsenal playing last on the weekends. City play first. Advantage or disadvantage?
I like to get it done and dusted.
You prefer to be first and then watch the others?
Yeah, when we were going head-to-head in Scotland with Rangers for the title, pretty much all season, and for TV purposes, one would play on a Saturday, one would play on a Sunday, and I much preferred, particularly when it gets to this stage, which is, the white knuckle ride.
Yeah.
The big pressure, when the fans start no, you're not,
What's it like when you play the second game, when you're the...
Well, you absolutely know where you stand. Now, if they've lost the day before, it's like an even bigger boost.
Right.
But if they just keep putting the pressure on, which good sides do, then you've got to go out the following day and get the job done. And that, you can feel the pressure, and so I always liked to get it out.
Well, I think that's what statistics have shown with penalty competitions as well. That if you go first now and you score, that pressure of knowing what's already in front of you is greater than the idea of, I know what's already happened. So, yeah, I'm with Craig a little bit. I'd like to put the marker down and then...
Plus you get the weekend. Plus you get the
rest of the week.
That's what it is. Opens up your Saturday night.
If you play on a Sunday, you have to train on a Saturday.
Yeah, train on a Saturday. You got, for sure.